Hello and welcome. Today I want to talk about some of the considerations associated with developing a pay structure or a reward system for your employees. A reward system is inclusive of the policies, the procedures, and the practices used by the company to determine the amount and types of returns that are expected. Reward systems should always be aligned with the organization's overall strategy. Remember, if you reward something, people will notice and repeat those behaviors. Therefore, those outcomes or results to those behaviors should be strategically aligned with the company's overall goals. All rewards are likely to have some sort of impact on the employee's performance and desire to stay with the organization and to stay productive. The total compensation of employees could be inclusive of direct payments that they receive as well as rewards and benefits that they receive. So compensation can be base pay as well as variable pay in the forms of rewards and benefits. Benefits could include health, life, and disability insurance, retirement programs, and also work-life balance programs that many of us now tend to use when our organizations offer them. The reward program should also consider relational returns, which are those non-monetary incentives and rewards, such as new learning and development opportunities, enriched and challenging work, job security, and recognition that employees can receive as a result of their new learning, new knowledge, new certification, or new achievements in the organization. So those are considered relational returns, which should be considered as part of any organization's compensation structure, which could include rewards, benefits, and direct compensations that they receive. The goal is to have a fair process for rewards. Fairness of rewards basically means you need to study the psychological theories to understand reward system fairness and design and implement reward systems properly. When it comes to rewards, you should consider equity theory or even organizational justice theories. And the organizational justice theory stems from equity theory and posits that people's emotions, their thoughts, and behaviors are influenced by the extent to which they perceive distributive, procedural, and interactional justice at work. Let's look at these three different forms of organizational justice that could be present in your workplace. Distributive justice is the perceived fairness of the allocation of an outcome or a resource, which can include rewards, punishments, or other organizational consequences. So distributive justice is also seen as outcome fairness. Procedural justice is perceived fairness of the process used to determine how an outcome or resource is determined and doled out. Sometimes it's referred to as process fairness. And finally, interactional justice is the perceived fairness of interpersonal treatment that employees receive, such as how respectfully you communicated with them, the consideration, the dignity, and kindness, of the manner and content of the information that is provided to them, the explanations that you provide to employees about your decisions are all part of interactional justice. So the key to developing a pay structure fairness is to ensure you have both internal equity as well as external equity. In internal equity, the job evaluation is a process which is used to determine the relative worth of jobs within an organization, assuming that you have already done a job analysis. For job evaluation, you can use a ranking method or classification method. In a ranking method, the subject matter experts evaluate the job description and specifications for a selection of jobs, and they order them in terms of their relative contribution or how important they are to the job. The classification method is a written classification description for a job that is matched by subject matter experts to a classification level, such as financial expert 1, financial expert 2, financial engineer, or data database administrator 1, database administrator 2, database administrator 3, and so on. For job evaluation, you can also use the point factor method, which is a job evaluation approach where a team of subject matter experts systematically identifies compensable factors and develops and applies scales and weights for compensable factors based on the experience, based on the education, and based on the complexity of the job. So you can give certain weights, and all that is done based on the expertise of those who have done the job or familiarized with a job and are considered subject matter experts. External equity basically is the extent to which the pay for a particular job happens to be competitive and fair relative to the pay of the same or similar jobs in other organizations in the industry, specifically your competitors. In this case, you would analyze the labor market as well as product market. So labor market is the availability of the talent outside of the company, which can be viewed through the lens of talent supply and demand. Product market basically means the final sale of products and services in the marketplace. So if there's a shortage, for example, for a product, then the employees should be paid a lot more for it because you need them right now. So the market actually might be paying them more. On the other hand, if there's a surplus, then obviously the pay will be impacted in favor of the organization. You also need to always ensure legal compliance based on the Fair Labor Standards Act, or FLSA. The Fair Labor Standards Act actually regulates overtime pay and minimum wage that employees receive, the amount of hours that they work, as well as record-keeping procedures. So you need to make sure you're complying with all those regulations. Ultimately, you can have pay transparency or pay secrecy. Pay transparency is the extent to which a company communicates pay information, in the extent to which employees are permitted to discuss pay with each other. On the other hand, pay secrecy is the extent to which a company has certain policies and practices that actually suppress pay information among employees. Ultimately, make sure to pay and reward the employees fairly based on internal equity as well as external equity in the market, in industry. As always, build a reputation for being objective, for being analytic, and for being rational in all circumstances. You can do this by analyzing the facts, analyzing the data, analyzing the numbers, so you can make evidence-based decisions. Good luck.